Hi everyone, welcome to Thursday's reading session, our final session on our book Guardians of the Planet, and before tomorrow's final session, and that will be based on our news round for the week. Okay, so for our final 2 pages, we are going to be looking at the pages about going wild and also about grubs up, so what we can do to help feed the animals in our garden, I think. So let's have a look. Go wild. Why not lend bees and other creatures in your neighbourhood a hand? Here are a few easy ways to turn an ordinary garden or schoolyard into a heavenly home for wildlife. Buy a ready-made bee hotel from a garden centre. I know we have some of them. You can sort of see it at the top there near the screen. Follow the instructions from environmental websites such as Friends of the Earth. Securely position the hotel at least 1 metre above the ground in full sunlight, so you don't want any predators getting to it. Solitary bees should lay their eggs in the tubes, usually sealing them with mud or plants. Leave a patch of grass in your garden uncut. You could plant some wildflower seeds in the patch to create a mini meadow for butterflies and moths. And we've done that in I don't know if you remember right at the beginning when we looked at this book, my garden, on the top of my shed, we have like a little shed garden, and we have some little wildflowers on there that we help to attract the bees, which is good. So, we've done leave a patch of grass. A pile of rotting wood can make a great home for grubs and small critters. These, in turn, can provide food for birds and amphibians. An old washing up bowl filled with water makes a great mini pond for frogs, insects and birds. Add a layer of gravel at the bottom of the bowl and some large stones to give creatures ways in and out. Aquatic plants, or plants that live in water, will also keep the water healthy and attract wildlife. Super. Rake up a pile of leaves in the autumn and leave them undisturbed throughout the winter. This will provide a cosy place for insects, centipedes, and even little creatures. Brilliant. Grubs up. Putting out food for wildlife is a great way to support creatures in your local area. Each region of the world is likely to attract different animals. So do some research about where you live. What sorts of creatures are likely to visit and what do they like to eat? Feeding tips. Follow these tips to make sure you're feeding furry and feathered friends the right stuff. Don't place bird feeders too close to windows, as birds could injure themselves if they accidentally fly into it. Never feed wild creatures junk food or put out salted or dried peanuts for birds. Buy raw peanuts from pet shops or garden centres. In your garden, if your garden has fruit trees, leave some fallen fruit on the ground. Bruised or rotting fruit provides welcome food for these creatures. If you have a bird bath or other supply of water in your garden, keep the water clean. In winter, break any ice that forms over the surface. If they've got ice there, then they won't be able to drink it, will they? Feeding butterflies. Butterflies drink nectar from flowers, but will eat sugary liquids from fruit. You can also make sugar water for them, served in a saucer. Just get an adult to boil some rainwater and mix it with several teaspoons of white sugar. Let it cool completely before serving it to the butterflies. Wow. Leaving some small pieces of overripe fruits, that means a bit rotten, outside on a tray for butterflies to have a feast. Feeding the birds. Bird cake is a mixture of fat, seeds and nuts that can give a much needed energy boost to birds, especially in the winter. And it's really easy to make your own. Leave a block of lard, so that means butter or fat, at room temperature for a few hours to soften. Then cut it into small pieces. Mix it in a bowl with birdseed, raw peanuts and raisins, because I know the children in the green shed, they've been doing this. Work the mixture together with your fingers until it all holds together. You can finish the cake in several ways before placing it in the fridge for an hour to harden. Form it into tight, round, flat balls that sit on the bird table. Make a hole in an old plastic yogurt cup and thread string through the hole, securing it with a knot. Pack the pot with cake mix, and once it hardens, hang the pot from a branch. It's a good idea, and then none of it will fall off, will it? Pack the mix into half a coconut. Get an adult to make a hole in the coconut shell to thread the string through so it can hang as well. Well, they're brilliant ideas, aren't they? I know that my dad had a lot of issues with when he was trying to feed the birds. He did these fat ball of the bird cakes, and some of the mice were getting up on the bird feeders and eating it. So he had to unfortunately get rid of them because he knows that the fat balls attract mice and other pests that sort of aren't very good for these animals at all. So that is a bit difficult, but definitely do something that will then help animals feed whatever it is, especially throughout the winter. Okay, right, it was lovely to see everyone. We've learned so much, haven't we, throughout this book. I will be recapping it on the next session, but have a think about what you could do, or are you already doing at home to help feed the insects and birds at home. Okay, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye everyone.